to be talking to us today about the 24-hour rule. What I call the 24-hour rule is simply this: that rather than measuring our lives in months, in weeks, in years, we should rather measure our life in days. It means that if you can live a complete and fulfilling 24 hours, then if everything compounds, it means you can live invariably a fulfilling life. We should try as much as possible to ensure that we break our plans down into 24 hours. Believe me, 24 hours seems to be short, but believe me, it is quite long if you can utilize it adequately, effectively, and well. And what I've discovered is that majority of us have less than 30% of productive time in a day. It might sound outlandish, but believe me, if you take your time and actually break down a 24-hour cycle for yourself and look at what portion, what percentage of that 24-hour were you really actually productive, you find out that most of the time is not up to 30%. Believe me, we waste a lot, the major chunk of our 24 hours. Let us even take people that do the 9 to 5. 9 to 5 is about 8 hours. That's a quarter of the day. Let's even assume that you are productive for that 9 to 5, fully productive. And I can bet it that a lot of people are not even productive the full entire period of their 9 to 5. But let us assume that for that 8 hours, you are fully productive. The remaining time, where do we spend it? For us that live in cities like Lagos, we'll spend that chunk of it in traffic. By the time people get home, what do? They go and watch Netflix, go on YouTube, go on Instagram, and do all these things and waste away the productive time that they have. And then before you know it, you sleep for another 8 hours. My admonition to us is that for you to even be productive, for you to even utilize your 24 hours effectively, doesn't mean you have to be productive for the whole of the 24 hours. But if you do certain things that you tell yourself that these are the things that I must do daily, if you can find as little as 3 hours in a day that you can be productive, you find out that ultimately you will live a really, really productive and fruitful life. There's a principle and a rule that I gave to myself, and I call it 1-1-1. What does it mean? That I must make sure that in the morning, I utilize 1 hour. In the afternoon, I utilize 1 hour. And then in the night, I utilize 1 hour. What I wanted to say about the 8 hours being the quarter, it's the 1/3, you understand, of your entire day. You understand? So that's about 30-something percent, about 33% of your entire day. You break it down into 8. That's 24 hours. So I make sure that for every 8 hours, at least I utilize 1 hour to do whatever. And then it's left for you to decide what you want to impute in that 1 hour. Now, for me, what are the things that I do? So each and every one of us must have what I call your non-negotiables. Your non-negotiables are those things that no matter what, you must do daily. First and foremost, write out all your non-negotiables. What are your non-negotiable? Meditation, reading, listening to podcasts, exercise, and any other thing that you want to put in there. So by the time you identify all what your non-negotiables are, it means that even if the sky is falling, you will do those things. No matter the distraction, you will do those things. By the time you identify those things, then you now break it down. Maybe if you want to do like me, you want to set the rule of 1-1-1 and say, okay, my 1 hour in the morning, what do I want to do with it? And then I forgot to also mention another thing that I do in my own is what I call quiet, silent time. Believe me, it's hard to be quiet and silent nowadays. There's so much distraction all around us. So much distraction that if you try to be quiet for 20 minutes, then you know how hard it is. And what do I mean by being quiet? It means you being away from every distraction. You being away from technology. You being away from your phone. You just being quiet. Communing with yourself. Reviewing your plan. It's not a time that you're reading. It's not a time that you're listening to anything. It's a time that you're just quiet. And I will encourage us, try and be quiet for just 5 minutes a day. Start with that. And as you get done with that, as you get accustomed to that, as you get used to that, then you can increase it and say, okay, let me do 10 minutes till you get to 30 minutes and whatever you want to set for yourself. You will find the value in it. Then when you set up your non-negotiable, then you now break it down, even if it's 1 hour. And I can tell you what you can pack into 1 hour. If you say, okay, I'm going to do 10 minutes of quietness, 20 minutes of reading, and 30 minutes of podcasts daily. If you can even start by just that alone, because I would encourage you not to overload things. You don't have to start with 3 hours. Start with 10 minutes and say, I want to do something definite for myself for 10 minutes in a day. And as you master that, then you scale up. But if you can just take out of your 24 hours, take 1 hour, I've given you how you can break it down. And after this, one of the other things that I believe should be our non-negotiable for each and every one of us is investing in ourselves. Daily, make sure you invest in yourself. Jim Rohn said that we should try to invest in ourselves more than we invest in our work. Because the more you invest in yourself, the better you even become at your work or whatever you're doing. Now, I'm not talking about whatever your day job is, whatever your 9 to 5 is, but I'm talking about you investing in yourself to becoming valuable to yourself. Investing in your future to becoming richer, to becoming better, whether in your health, whether in your finances, whether in your vision that you have for yourself. So just take yourself and say, 30 minutes I want to give myself daily to do this. The beauty of the time that we live in is that almost everything you can get it at your beck and call on your phone. There are free courses online. Coursera is there, Udemy is there, and a lot of other places. You can just say, okay, maybe I'm interested in this field. I want to become proficient in this field. I want to learn about it. Just give yourself and say, I'm going to give 30 minutes to learning about this thing. For anybody to become the top 1% in any field, you must have put in 10,000 hours in that field. If you just tell yourself and say, daily, I'm just going to throw in 30 minutes to learn something, to increase myself. Do you know what you would have become at the end of the year? Do you know how much you would have impacted on yourself? So break the year down, 365 days. What do you want to achieve today? And then if you increase yourself and just tell yourself also that for each day, I want to improve in this area, in that area, I want to improve just 1%. You can even tell yourself, I want to learn one new vocabulary, one new word every day. I want to make a research on something daily. And then if you do that every single day, do you know how many new words you would have added to your vocabulary in a day, in a year? Over 300. That is the power of compounding. So commit to say every day, I want to improve myself. I want to increase myself by just 1%. And this is the whole essence of the book Atomic Habits, because everything compounds. And if you increase yourself by 1% daily, believe me, at the end of the year, you would have done incredibly much well for yourself. So set your goals, define them, write them down, because statistically it has been shown that people that write down their goals or their vision or whatever they want to achieve, they have a 42% chance of achieving them than people that do not write them down. And then you now follow through with a 24-hour rule. You break it down into daily goals, and then you follow through. With discipline, nothing will be impossible for you to achieve. You find out that things that you have left undone in the years before, in this year 2025, you're going to achieve them extraordinarily, beyond even your own widest imagination. Welcome to Inspire Adetunji. Once again, thank you for listening to me. And if you have any comments, if you have any question, if you have anything you want us to discuss, please drop a comment for me. I'm always there to attend to you. I'm always here to discuss with you. And one of these days, we're going to have a meet together with people that are interested, with people that are some of our followers. Let's come and talk together as we've been communicating over this channel. I would love to meet you personally, and then I'll share more information about this with you in the days to come, so that we can all gather ourselves together somewhere in Lagos and let's talk. Let's talk to ourselves. Let's encourage ourselves. Let's whatever question you've been having, you can even come with them and we'll all interact and learn from each other. Follow me on this channel, like, subscribe, and share with your friends.